Hi, I'm Linda. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia, and I'm just going to show you something really simple today that relates to the card that I had on my blog yesterday. So this is the card, and yesterday I was showing this one as a male birthday card. I guess you could give it to anybody really, but it would work for a guy. So I wanted to show you how I got the different grades of colour on these maple leaves here. The stamp I'm working with is the Magnificent Maple. It is a set of one. I love the way they say set of one. And it's in our current holiday catalogue, which is finishing up at the end of the month. Okay, so that's this one, if you're wondering which one. So that's ending up. And how I did it, there's lots of different ways to get multicoloured stamps. You can use markers, you can use aqua pens, you can use the rock and roll technique. You can do so many things with getting different colours onto your stamps, and it really does bring a lot of life to your stamps. But what I wanted to show you was how I did this one particular. I use sponge daubers. If I want the colours to blend together really well, this is the preferred way of doing it. I use a dauber. This is my yellow dauber, as you can see, and I'm using the colour Crushed Curry. Can't even say it properly. That's this kind of really, to me, this is a really autumny sort of a yellow. And I'm actually going to pound the colour straight on to the stamp in sort of a bouncing motion with the dauber. Okay, so these little sponge daubers you can purchase. They're really very reasonable. You get 12 of them at a time. And you just want to be quite liberal with the colour, so you want to really get it wet and actually pound it straight onto your stamp. Then I always start with the lightest colour first. The next colour I'm going up to is Tangerine Tango. So I want to make sure I get that nice and wet. Okay, and I'm just going to try and randomly cover this stamp, and I'm trying to get all the areas filled in that I didn't get filled in last time with the yellow. Now I've used the darker colour, which is the orange, and my final colour I'm using is Old Olive, which is probably still just about my favourite green, although I'm wavering. I always loved Old Olive, but I'm sort of loving Pear Pizzazz now, which is a bit softer. Anyway, so I'm going to make sure I cover the stem in the green and go back onto my stamp a little bit. A bit more green on the stamp. Okay, now you can't really see it on there, but when you stamp it, you will. Okay, so I'm going to sort of randomly stamp that, and hopefully you can see that. It's really pretty. Okay, you can see all the different autumny colours on that leaf, and I'm going to repeat that process, but I will use my Stampin' Scrub in between times. I've got the wet side and the dry side. I'm just going to clean it on one side and dry it off on the other. Okay, ready to go and stamp again. My recommendation, if you don't have one, is get yourself a good stamp cleaner. The Stampin' Scrub is fabulous, and part of the reason why I'm so sold on it is you will do more stamping if you can easily clean your stamps, because there's nothing worse than having to clean your stamps and going, oh, I can't really be bothered doing that, so I think I just won't bother. Well, if you want to always do a bit more stamping and enjoy it more, find an easy way to clean them, and the Stampin' Scrub will give you that. It was actually the very first thing I ever bought. My first Stampin' Up! Product ever at my very first workshop was a Stampin' Scrub. That's all I bought, and I loved it ever since. Alright, so now I'm using the olive green, which is the darkest of my three colours. Straight on again. Okay, and you can see I'm just getting a really random pattern here. I can have as many of them as close together or as far apart as I like until I end up with, in this case I ended up with 4 on there, and I was actually really happy with that. I've rounded off these corners here, okay, and you can kind of see how it goes together. So I rounded off these 2 corners. I've put some of our specialty paper on here, our embossed crumb cake paper, and I've used a piece of the strip out of the Tablescape set, which is also in the current catalogue that's going. I popped this little guy on here. I tied a bit of twine around my centerpiece. You can see the twine there. Okay, and oops, stuck to my elbow. I also put on a happy birthday there at the end as well. Oh, it'd be good if I put it up the right way. There we go. It's late. Nighttime. Okay, and you can kind of see how that all goes together. I also put some candy dots. These little guys, these are adhesive. They're not brads. They look like brads, but they're not. I stuck a few of those up the side just to add a little bit of an element there. So it's as simple as that to get colour on your stamps, and you can see that's a really simple project. That's how it looks when it's all glued together. I was really happy with this one. I thought it looked really lovely, and I certainly could give that to any man in my life. Might be good for my dad for his birthday. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.